we're going to be talking about the ongoing unsolved case of influencer Ahyoung. There is just so much mystery and things to uncover with this case, and we might not get the answers for a while, but there has been a lot of rumors and misinformation regarding Ahyoung's case. Are the suspects really guilty? Is there more to the story? I think there is. Did this influencer's cryptic message that she left on Instagram have anything to do with her death? I would love to know your opinion because I am so conflicted. If you're from Cambodia, or maybe if you're Chinese, you might be able to give us a little insight on the background of the suspects. You guys always know I do my best to cover these cases that are not well known in English. I do translate a lot of them, watch hours of videos. So just a like in today's video, subscribing, leaving a comment on your thoughts all help to keep this channel running. So who is BJ Ahyoung? She was, I believe, 32 years old and she was a streamer. BJ basically means a streamer, but in Korea, the biggest streaming platform is something called Africa TV. She had over 200,000 followers on Instagram. She was pretty well known in the streaming community. Here's some videos of her talking. So on this Instagram post, it basically says that she's gonna be quitting as a streamer. She's gonna be going to a normal lifestyle. It says 일반인 means like normal, no entertainment, no streaming. And quote, it says, when I return to Korea, I will be uploading a video message. Now, this is interesting because she says that she's going to be releasing some kind of a message once she returns to Korea. She did not specify what this was, but her intent was to return to Korea after the trip and release whatever message that she had. So one of the person that influencer knew, I guess in real life slash I believe he was kind of like a fan as well, when she announced her retirement plans, he DM'd her saying, "What are you gonna do now?" She replied, "I'm having a stalker problem, so I came overseas. I'll release a video once I'm back." So does this mean that she was dealing with a really bad stalker problem, which could have led to her retirement, which could have led her to go overseas to run away from all of this? I mean, she used to be a streamer, so you could have a lot of like hardcore fans maybe sending her a lot of money. There has been a couple stories where mega fans will stalk the person, trying to get closer to your favorite influencer and streamer. So maybe she was dealing with something like that, but we do not have any answers. Unfortunately, because her case happened in Cambodia and not in Korea, I don't believe that the Korean police are looking into anything about her in Korea at this moment. So influencer Ahyoung arrived in Cambodia on June 2nd. She was to stay with this Korean friend that lived in Cambodia, again with her husband, and it's only been 2 days into the trip when Ahyoung went missing. Now on the 6th of June, the Korean friend would ask neighbors if anyone has seen her, and she asked the neighbors to see any CCTV footages that they own to try and find her friend. And that's when, again, her friend and the neighbors called the police and filed a missing report person. Now there's still some mystery about this as well. I'm not sure if it's suspicious or not, but it is odd that your friend from a foreign country came to Cambodia, not even like the main town, but she's been missing for 2 days. I mean, maybe she thought that maybe her friend is an adult. Adults can do anything. You can go home for the night with someone after partying. You just never know. But you know, if I had a friend that came all the way from South Korea to America and she was staying with me in my house, but then she went missing, she did not come back home, and she didn't tell me where she was going, or maybe she did tell me where she was going and she did not come back for 2 days. I mean, I would be worried. I would probably, the next day I would probably go to the police and try to find her. But again, I mean, being adults, maybe the friend thought and knew Ahyoung's patterns. Maybe she did disappear for a couple of days at a time before. You just never know. And on June 6th, just 40 minutes away from where she was last seen, Ahyoung's body would be found. So looking at the CCTV footages, they found influencer Ahyoung going into this Chinese couple-owned clinic. Now this clinic is interesting because again, it is Chinese couple-owned, and on the sign it says that they do pretty much everything. This clinic says that they do gynecology, facials, like dermatology, primary care, and there were a couple other things that they do. So they were like pretty much a hospital, but not really a hospital. Now, I know in at least Korea, they do not have a clinic like this. Maybe in Cambodia, maybe in China, because it was Chinese owned, is this normal? You guys let me know. But and people have seen outside looking in, it does not look like a hospital or a doctor's clinic at all. If anything, it does look like maybe a small pharmacy. But the important thing is they saw Ahyoung enter the clinic 2 times. So on June 3rd, she would enter the clinic and leave. We don't know what she did there. And on June 4th, the day she went missing, she went back to this clinic for whatever reason. Now, I do have to say this clinic was only 5 minutes away from her friend's house. So not a long walk, but it seemed like she's walking like she's been there before. Now, when Koreans who's been to Cambodia, who lives in Cambodia, they say that it is unusual for foreigners to especially walk into a Chinese couple-owned clinic if you're sick or in need of something. So right there, that's also a mystery why Ahyoung decided to go to this clinic specifically. So a couple days later, Cambodian police released that they have found the suspects, and the accused are the owners of the clinic, and they're a married Chinese couple living in Cambodia. And the husband is 30 years old and the wife is 39 years old. And they also found out that this clinic is operating illegally. They had no license, no doctor's license, nothing. Now, looking at the CCTV footages, only a couple minutes after Ahyoung went in, you could see someone shutting the light off to the clinic. Now, police believe this is around the time when Ahyoung might have passed away and someone realized it. Professionals also say that it does look like the two couple going back and forth outside of the clinic as if they might have been nervous about something or heard some kind of information or at least an acknowledge of what might have happened. At 9 p.m. you see the couple ride the motorcycle and going off somewhere. And at 1 a.m. the couple would come back with their car together. Both of them would go inside the clinic, come back out, etc., going back and forth. And this is where police believe that Ahyoung's body was carried onto their car and disposed. And the whole thing took about 9 hours since they believe Ahyoung passed away. Now, when Ahyoung's body was first found on June 6th, the Cambodian police or the media did release some misinformation where it was first reported that they believe Ahyoung was severely abused because they did see a lot of bruises. People who might not be medically forensic trained might think it was abused. But later on, professionals actually confirmed that they do not believe Ahyoung was abused, that she was swollen in the face, red, capillaries showing, blood veins. Because Cambodia is so hot, she's been disposed and it seems like the body was decomposing. But the police did charge them for murder and now they're crying for help because they believe that they are innocent. So the male suspect's sister was interviewed and they claim that there is no way that their sister-in-law and their brother would have done anything to harm anybody, at least on purpose. They just had a newborn baby. They just opened up the clinic only 3 months ago and they've never shown signs of harming anybody on purpose. And before they find any physical evidence, they've accused and charged the couples, which should be illegal. But in Cambodia, apparently it works a little different. You could charge the suspects and they can be in prison up to 3 years while the investigation is going on. So in other countries, you could only keep a suspect in prison for like a month. Like in South Korea, it's only about a month. And you have to get the investigation started and finished by a month to have enough evidence to charge them. If you don't, you have to release them. But in Cambodia, it's 3 years. It's a very long time. So that could be one of the reasons why the Cambodian investigation team, they're not rushing the autopsy or anything, which is one of the reasons why this case can take a longer time to be solved. So let's talk a little bit more about the suspects and the couple. So apparently the wife, a 39-year-old woman, came from a medicinal background. Father, her mother, her family came from a medicine background, but she herself did not have any license. She herself did not have proper documents to run a clinic in Cambodia. Her husband, the 30-year-old man, also does not have any documentations, but learned the medical field and how to administer shots and everything through his wife. And apparently this was a place where Chinese people living in Cambodia would come to get like rare Chinese medicines you can't get there. All we know for now, because it was an illegally operating business, nobody's probably willing to come forward and say that they've been there. Now, this is the version that the family of the suspect give. And we're gonna get to what the suspect said in their interview, but they believe Ahyoung came in for something called the alumni shot. Alumni shot is apparently popular to Chinese people, and this shot is apparently to help with cold, immunity, if you need a little bit of boost. But they accuse the influencer of bringing her own drug and administering the drug herself, and that she overdosed on this medicine. They accuse her of using Propofol. This is actually a very hot topic in South Korea. Propofol is an anesthesia, but it is known as like the milk shot, where people who have insomnia, celebrities who like to feel relaxed and who can't get enough sleep, who are very stressed, they sometimes have connections to doctors and they illegally administer this anesthesia so that they get a deep sleep. And it's been a hot topic in South Korea, and sometimes they say that Koreans come to foreign countries where you can get this drug over the counter for cheap. Okay, so let's say she overdosed. People ask, well, why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they call for help? Why did they dispose the body themselves? And according to the family, they say that the couples knew of the dark side of Cambodian police and that they're very corrupt. And because the family were very poor, they just opened up the clinic. They didn't want to get into any legal battles or be bribed for money. They believe that the police would ask them for a large sum of money to cover it up or to not make up stories about it if they did call the police for help. And because they couldn't be afford to be bribed by the police, but they just decided to get rid of it themselves. So the documentary crew went to jail to meet the couple. The husband claims that Ahyoung came to the clinic asking for aluminum shots, but seeing her condition, he didn't want to administer it for whatever reason. But he says that he did take her $5 for the shot. He also claims that he stuffed few needle marks on her arms already. She also told him that she was having insomnia and just wanted some injections to help with that. And he claims that she wasn't feeling well, so she decided to sleep on their bed, the patient bed, and he just allowed her to take some rest while he went to play phone games. He says that a couple hours later, he came back to check on her, and by then she was foaming in her mouth and unconscious. He decided to give her a Chinese medicine that was supposed to help with blood flow and gave her about 4 to 5 tiny pills to try and bring her back to life. He also tried CPR, but she was pretty much gone by then and decided to just dispose the body after. The 10-minute visitation was over and the crew decided to go back the next day to ask more questions. The crew asked, "Did you move the body with your wife?" He says, "She didn't know. I was alone when this happened. When she saw Ahyoung, I just told her she's a patient taking a rest." Then later, my wife asked to go eat late at night, referring to why he drove the car with his wife at 1 a.m. While she went to the bathroom inside of the clinic, I moved the body to the car. Then I dropped her off at the restaurant. I told her I'll be back. I then proceeded to dispose the body. My wife is taking care of a newborn at the time, so she was really busy. I admit I disposed the body. I was so scared and so poor. I told the police all this, but they already closed the case. If you, Korean documentary crew, twisted this story and sell it as a twisted version, I can sue you later, right? So the documentary crew was a little confused in his answers. First, he's saying, I could sue you, right, if you twist the story. I mean, it seems kind of heartless for you to say. And they were confused that if a foreign woman came to your clinic claiming that she was sick and she passed away, you just decide to dispose her body. I mean, that kind of seems pretty heartless. And the fact that you weren't willing to help her. And we see on the CCTV footages that Ahyoung came to the clinic on June 3rd, the day before she went missing. And when asked about this, he claims that yes, she did come for the first time on June 3rd, again asked for shots, but he refused the first time. And he told the same story that she decided to sleep on the bed for a couple hours. Which is really weird, right? Like a patient going to a clinic, they don't help you and you decide to sleep on the patient's bed for a couple hours when your dorm is only 5 minutes away. And then you come back the next day knowing that they're gonna refuse you for whatever you wanted, and then you sleep on their bed again? Huh? Now, by this time, at least in the beginning, a lot of people thought that maybe the Chinese couple knew that Ahyoung was an influencer. She had thousands of followers and she was a streamer. And knowing that she's a Korean lady, maybe thinking that she had a lot of money, decided to manipulate her or try to bribe her for money. And there were also rumors and hate comments claiming that Ahyoung went to Cambodia because she was a sugar baby, because she had that image of being a streamer. So a lot of hate comments that she was a sugar baby, that she was doing drugs illegally, really, a lot of rumors that surfaced in the beginning. So could it be true that the influencer went to this clinic to administer an illegal drug to make her feel better? Now again, Propofol is an anesthesia, and professionals who have looked at the CCTV footage of Ahyoung walking around that day and the day before, they don't believe that she had anything to do with the anesthesia. At least according to the professionals, people who take this anesthesia usually do not want to get out of the bed all day. They're usually a little, out of it, a little slow, but it seems like Ahyoung was walking perfectly fine. They don't see any signs that she was administered this drug 2 days in a row. Now here is what the wife said in her interview. Now she also claimed that she was looking after the baby, so she did not see Ahyoung at all, which is hard to believe because you see in their CCTV that the couple's grandmother would bring the baby for only a couple minutes and leave. So the wife, it seemed like, wasn't even taking care of the baby majority of the day. She was with her husband inside of the clinic and God knows what they were doing. And remember, they were in the motorcycle and in the car together. So it seems like they were never separated. So to think that you're inside of your own small clinic and not even know that someone passed away and your husband is packing up a body seems pretty unbelievable. She also said in the interview she thinks that Ahyoung brought her own shots and administered it herself at their clinic. But if you see the footage, unlike the couple's allegations, Ahyoung seems like she's only holding her phone in her comfy clothes with her slippers. You don't see a pocketbook. I mean, could she have something hidden under her clothes? Maybe, but from this, it does seem like she's only holding her phone and nothing else. But in their first interrogation record with the Cambodian police, this is what they told the police. The couple claimed that they administered a plasma injection to her 2 times and she fell into a seizure. Now this plasma injection is apparently made by using your own blood, and with the concentration of the patient's own blood, it is separated into different layers where the platelets are injected into the injured areas such as torn muscles, torn ligaments, and etc. It's usually used when you have pretty bad injuries. But it does not look like Ahyoung has any bad open wound injuries where she would be needing the shot. Professionals also say that it is highly unlikely that a platelet injection would cause death. So it does seem like the couple's story are changing a couple times. Now, without doing a full autopsy, this is the only evidence we have so far, which is number 1, police say that she was found with her underwear backwards. So police are still in the fence about was she assaulted. What kind of grown woman wears their underwear backwards? Now again, was she really out of it for whatever reason? She was sick, whatever, and she just woke up and wore underwears backwards that day? Or did something happen in the clinic where somebody else put her underwear backwards? So police are saying they're looking into assault case, but the husband claims that, hey, if I did assault her, do an autopsy because you will not find anything. I've never done that to her. Now, as a woman, if you wear your underwear backwards, it's pretty noticeable. Like, it's uncomfortable. You'll pretty much notice it, but if she was under really something, yeah, you might be out of it and not know or not care about it. But number 2, a drug test was done with her urine and it came back negative. They did not specify which drug test was done, but I'm guessing urine test does pretty much the most popular or the most common drugs that are out there. But professionals do say you have to do a full autopsy to see what substance was in her body to be completely sure. And that has to be done right away because, again, in Cambodia, you have 3 years to investigate. Now, by then, the body might deteriorate and you might not get any toxicology reports unless you do it early on, like right now. It's been about a month. They should hurry and do this autopsy. And so far, again, with no autopsy, they are claiming that they believe she passed away from choking. The most interesting thing is Ahyoung's phone has never been found. It is still missing till this day. And they believe that this motorcycle scene was when they decided to dispose her phone. But why do you think they decided to dispose it separately from the body? Was it because they didn't want anybody to track her? Was there something in her phone that could have led to more damning evidence? What was going through Ahyoung's head at the time, we really do not know, but there are messages right until she passed away. Her and her friend messaging back and forth, her friend saying that, hey, I'm gonna be in Cambodia, and she's like, oh my god, when? And this was the last message that she ever communicated with her friend. So up till she passed away, she was communicating, she was alert and aware, it seems like. So what people think actually happened so far with all the limited information that we have is that they believe that this couple, the Chinese couple, might have really administered something to her. We don't know what it is, but because they were unlicensed, they knew that they would be in trouble by causing a negligent death. Maybe they really felt so scared at the moment that they just decided to dispose the body so that maybe they can run away from whatever consequences they thought they would have. Because they were also Chinese nationals, they might have feared that at least back in China, you can be punished up to life in prison if you were found of causing someone's death through medical reasons and you did not have any license to practice. Now, this case is very unique because the suspects are Chinese nationals, the victim is Korean, and this happened in Cambodia. So Korean fans and Korean people are very worried that the Cambodian police will take their extra time and they want purposely people to forget about it, so maybe that they can sweep this under the rug, because this was not the first time a Korean nationals have been found unalived in Cambodia under mysterious circumstances. There was also a huge case of another Korean comedian celebrity that passed away from using Propofol in Cambodia. And this happened actually not too long before Ahyoung's case, so it is something that we should raise our eyebrows and see what is going on there. Now, this is a woman who lives in the village where Ahyoung's body was found. She claims that, she witnessed the investigation because it was happening in her town, and she actually dreamt about Ahyoung. She said, quote, "In the dream, Ahyoung came to me asking for money. I told her no, and she left." She says her whole family also cried after hearing the story. After their dream, she also left some food and drinks near where her body was found as like an offering, thinking that maybe Ahyoung was trying to find her way back home even after she passed away. It does look like the suspect are lying about the timeline, about the wife not knowing about the whole thing. It does seem like she definitely knew about it. What are they hiding exactly? I think the only option we have is to do an autopsy and seeing if there's anything in her body from the toxicology report that the Chinese couple might have illegally administered to her. Or do you think this has to do something with Ahyoung's cryptic message? Before she left to Cambodia, she says that she was having some stalker problem. Or could all this just be a coincidence? Let me know what you guys think might have happened. Things are still developing and I'll let you guys know any updates. But a lot of people do say they don't want the media to stop talking about this case because if she's forgotten, this case could be swept under the rug, especially because both sides are foreigners. If you guys are from Cambodia, if you guys are Chinese and know about what this kind of Chinese clinic that they were running, I may leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next